Thank you all so much for coming to my book launch. Yes, I did it. I wrote it again. So, as you can see, it's a little more chunky than the first edition. A number of you in here contributed stories to this book. So, there's some beautiful client stories in it. I added a very chunky chapter on the inner child. I know there's a bunch of you here that have done some fairly profound inner child work with me. And that section of the book originally was maybe, I don't know, page and a half, 2 pages. And as a lot of you know, that's become fairly significant in terms of the work that I offer, because you can't love yourself if you don't have a relationship with your inner child and healing up that wounded part of you. So so I added that chapter and the stories, and I updated my story because when I wrote this, I was single, and now I have my I'm going to cry. My two stepchildren in the room. Oh. Yes, so Imogen is here as my social media manager today. She's been following me around since 7 o'clock this morning because we had we had a beautiful event this morning with 90 women from the property industry. It was a Women's Day breakfast, so I spoke to them on daring and mighty leadership, and I'm going to do the same talk for you guys. So thank you all again for being here. Before I kick off my talk today on daring and mighty leadership, I wanted to kind of I was talking with Claire about this the other day, actually. So there's this noise and buzz in the air at the moment, isn't there, about this 4-part TV series, Adolescence? Yeah, it's quite a thing, right? And I've watched the first episode with my son, and he's actually specifically asked me that I don't watch it without him. Like, I've got to go back and watch it with him and James. Excuse me. And the reason I'm bringing up just really quickly is because I'm about to speak to a group of women and 2 men. And guys, just forgive me today. Like, I'm going to address the women predominantly in the room, but please know, in fact, what I'm about to say. Let me rewind. This buzz about this show, it brings up a very interesting and valid point, which I completely support. And that's the idea that men and boys, there's kind of something there about them missing out or not getting the support perhaps they need. And the talk I'm about to give, if I just tweaked a few sentences, it could be a talk for men and boys. I've rehearsed this talk at home many, many times, and James, my 51-year-old husband, has heard it, and my 17-year-old son has heard it, and it resonates with both of them. So this isn't a talk to separate men and women. I actually think the world isn't going to change and be the place it needs to be if all of us who are called to rise don't rise up together. And we all have to bring each other up. I'll do my best today to include all genders. And if I get it a little bit wrong, please forgive me. Sometimes you can't say all the words in the one sentence. So I had the privilege of being invited onto a Zoom call with the Dalai Lama a few years back. And it was during a lockdown, and I was in bed. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. It was a Zoom call. So there I was in bed, pajamas, cup of tea, camera off. And His Holiness said something really compelling, which I wrote down and I memorized. And I'm going to share it with you now without his accent. He said, "Mother is the symbol of love. Without a mother's milk, you cannot survive. The female is the symbol of love and compassion. Sometimes I express that the world would be a better place with more female leaders." We've all heard him say something like that, right? Like, he believes that with more women in charge, the world would be a much more peaceful place. And of course, I tend to agree. And just being a woman can't automatically qualify you to be a great leader, right? And if you have the vision and the desire to lead in any area of your life, I believe what he is inviting us to is to not shy away from the inherently feminine qualities that come with being a woman. And I have my own caveat to that, because I believe that no matter how you identify, no matter your gender, every single human being has this beautiful, magical blend of masculine and feminine energy. Every single one of you, every human. And it's understanding and kind of knowing the interplay between those two energies, and very specifically valuing the feminine energy. That's the gold that's going to make you a great leader. But where do we begin? Because our role models for leadership have historically been men, and it's kind of not working, right? We don't have a blueprint for a more balanced feminine approach. So we find ourselves in this rather confusing double bind where, on the one hand, we want to be powerful, but God forbid we come across as kind of overly pushy. And we want to be assertive, but we don't want to be bossy. And we don't want to be too emotional, but we don't want to be cold. And we want to be compassionate, but we don't want to appear weak. And I work with high achieving women predominantly, a couple of high achieving men as well. And they tell me that day in, day out, that double bind is a very real experience for them. I was speaking with one woman the other day. So we were having this conversation about, despite how far we've come as a society, she and many of my clients still don't feel like they can find their place at the table. And I said to her, it's like you walk into the boardroom and you see your seat, you stand behind it while still looking for somewhere to sit. And she said, yeah, that's exactly how it feels. Like, she's C-suite, she's on the senior leadership team. She literally has a seat at the boardroom table, but she's sort of standing behind it going, and where do I sit? Where's my place? What if I told you that to feel equal, to feel purposeful, to feel like you're making a real difference in the world, and to feel like you have the energy and vitality to lead, all you have to do is be yourself. Like, just be more you. There's nothing new to learn. There's nothing to adapt to. There's nothing to prove. There's no fight. Just you being you is so much more than enough, right? And when you can do that, your work will thrive, your family will thrive, your relationships will thrive, and most importantly, you will feel like you're thriving. And to caveat before I go on, while I'm speaking to leadership in a professional setting, of course, leadership happens in multiple other settings, doesn't it? Leadership is how you parent your children. It's the role you play in your relationship when you're going through challenging times. It's how you navigate those challenging times with your partner. It's how you navigate difficult, changing circumstances with your aging parents. It's how you advocate for your community. It's the role you play on your sports team. And you may have heard it said that how we do one thing is how we do everything, which is why I'm particularly passionate about self-leadership. We have to lead ourselves first. Internal leadership has to come before external leadership, right? Like, when you've got your own back, others are more likely to trust you to have theirs. And the cherry on the top is when you're the chairwoman of your own inner board of directors, you know that noise, you can give up the mind games and the mental gymnastics that come with kind of fighting for your place or fitting in or imposter syndrome. And you can just relax and be in your own skin. So where do we begin with this inner game, this inside job, having your own back? Well, we need to start with energy. So, when you walk into a room and there's a couple in there, they've been fighting, but they're smiling and they're pretending like everything's okay. And everything is so far from okay. Like, the energy is like, the vibe in the room is wonky. And that's because energy is felt, right? And we women, we have a particularly powerful felt sense. Another example of how we feel energy. Bring to mind somebody in your world, and we all know someone who's a people pleaser. You know how when you're with them, it feels kind of awkward and uncomfortable? And it's a real shame because that's the exact opposite to how they want you to feel. They want you to feel at ease and calm and taken care of. They want everything to be just so. And whether you consciously realize it or not, the reason you're not feeling at ease is because their behavior is rooted in a wounded and unhealed place. And you feel that. Essentially, they need you to be okay so that they can feel okay. It's almost transactional. If they were taking care of you from a place of, I don't need anything in return, I just have this overflow of love to give, that's what you would feel. Another example of how energy is felt. So a few years, well, you all know, I just moved to the States, but it was nearly 2 years ago now. And yeah, in July, it'll be 2 years. I know, crazy. And when I first landed, I didn't know a single soul. I knew my husband, my teenage son, and my fur babies. I'm quite happy with them, just us, that's good. And I needed to find my people. And as you probably know, I like my yoga. And so I decided to go to the local yoga studio and try some classes. And I figured that's where my tribe would be. And some teachers felt good for me. I tried their classes, they were good. Some didn't feel so good. And really what I was doing was feeling their leadership. And it was really interesting to notice that the ones that didn't feel so good, you couldn't fault them. Their flows were perfect. They were saying all the right things. They were like Instagram perfect. They were wearing the latest Lululemon and their poses were spot on, right? And their classes were full. But it's an example of how when we feel someone's leadership, it's a very personal experience. Like for me, there's one teacher I have in mind. She's fantastic. And I personally didn't feel her authenticity. Like I didn't feel that she fully embodied the wisdom of yoga in the way that I need my teacher to. So I'd love for you to bring to mind a leader in your world that you personally respect and admire. And it could be someone on the global stage. It might even be someone in this room, someone in your organization, perhaps. Maybe it's your personal trainer or your yoga teacher. And just notice that you feel their leadership, don't you? You feel it. Yeah. And did you all know that you are in the business of relationships? So whether you are employed or not, or whether your leadership is at home or in your community or in an organization, maybe you're running a business, we are all in the business of relationships. Day in, day out, relationships is where it's at. And whether you're dealing with your kids, your colleagues, or your clients, you're in a relationship dynamic. And in relationships, we feel each other above and beyond what's said, what clothes someone's wearing, their gender, how many hours they profess to have worked, or how expert they want to convince you that they are. You can feel if somebody's trustworthy. You can feel their authenticity. You can feel if they walk their talk. You can feel if they're going to give you good value. And essentially what we feel is what they have embodied for themselves. I'll say it again because I feel like that's really important. What we feel is what they have embodied for themselves. A great leader isn't somebody that's done all the workshops and all the courses on how to craft a winning sales pitch, or how to have an influential conversation, or how to be a great team player. It totally all has its place, of course, and that's just knowledge and skills. We can learn that. We're all clever people. We can figure that out. It's your authenticity that's felt. It's you fully knowing you and embodying you and having you that stands out. That's what people remember. That's what will win you the sales pitch. A daring and mighty leader, she radically accepts herself. And so does he, by the way. He radically accepts himself too. She trusts herself. She knows she deserves to be here in the room. She stops looking for external validation. She embodies that self-trust, that self-worth, and that self-acceptance, and we feel it. So again, we have to, like, leadership now has to be an inside job. You have to lead from the inside out. So where do we begin with that inside job? Well, we need to go back to talking a little bit about energy. So as I was saying earlier on, we all have this inner masculine and feminine energy dynamic going on within us. And when we understand that, that's the stuff that's going to make us great leaders who love our work and don't burn out. As many of you know, I was a single parent for about 8 years. And when I felt like I had healed enough to really put myself out there dating, I dated a few people here and there, but when I was really ready to put myself out there, I'm going to really level with you. Ooh, I'm looking for you. When I was ready to put myself back out there, I'm going to level with you. You already know. The only masculine, feminine energy dynamic that was on my mind was getting laid. And so, of course, I began by dating super unsuitable men that were far too young for me, men that were not good enough for me. And meanwhile, I was also bending myself into a pretzel trying to be enough for them. It was crazy. It didn't work. It was exhausting. It was fun for a while until it wasn't fun, but it was fun until it wasn't, right? And thankfully, one day I discovered these magical energetics at play within me that became the key to not only deepening my self-worth and self-belief, it was the key to expanding my well-being and my sense of balance and health. It was the key to catapulting my career and income. And it was the key to me becoming the vibrational match, the energetic match to the kind of quality man that I wanted to spend my life with. So the kind of guys I was dating began to improve. And then I met my guy, and we were married in Bali 2 years later. And can you believe we're in our 9th year together now, living in the States. And like I said earlier, I've got my gorgeous stepchildren here who I'm just so freaking proud of. So where was I? Right, yes, let's get back to these masculine, feminine dynamics. It said that the home of the masculine is the head. The home of the masculine energy is the head. Remember, we're talking about energy here, not gender. That's the head. The home of the feminine is the body. Now, most of us have learned to do life from the shoulders up. It's become our habit to think and rationalize through our day-to-day existence. And no one's shown us, mostly, how to drop down into the wisdom of our bodies and lead from that gut-felt, heart-led space. And of course, we need both, don't we? Got to have both. For the sake of time, the easiest way to understand those two energy dynamics is to feel them. So if it feels okay for you, I would love for you to close your eyes, and it will be for less than a minute. And if you don't want to close your eyes, that's fine. Just look down at your lap or look down at the ground. And I'm going to just say some words to you, and I'm going to say them very slowly because I want you to feel the resonance of the words in your body. All right, here we go. So we're going to feel into the empowered feminine energy first. Collaborating, compassionate, creative, perceptive, intuitive, nurturing, empathetic, feeling. And just notice that it feels soft and tranquil and easy. And now just feeling into your empowered masculine energy, making things happen, analytical, logical, decisive, doing, giving, thinking. And notice that it feels safe and reliable and trustworthy. And just feeling those two energies at play within you and noticing how you can get things done while feeling good, that you need both so that you're not burning out. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. No one fell asleep. Well done. Nice. So essentially what happens is, again, in a nutshell, tiny nutshell, it's your feminine energy that downloads and receives her inspired ideas. She kind of receives the vision for her life. She receives the mission she wants to manifest, the legacy she wants to leave behind. And it's your masculine energy that takes the action to make that happen. And the beautiful thing is your masculine energy honors your feminine energy. So it does it. It takes the action in a way that feels really good for you. Daring and mighty leaders know the importance of valuing their feminine energy. For too long, our society has only valued the kind of demonstrable action of the masculine. It's why we're all so freaking addicted to being busy, keeping up appearances, all of that nonsense. We haven't learned to value the feminine. We've dismissed it as being a waste of time. So to be a daring and mighty leader, it's time to value the feminine, the thing that makes everything just feel that little bit easier. But there's one more final thing at play that's blocking us to being daring and mighty leaders. And that's the disempowered states of both of those energies. So when you had your eyes closed just now, you're feeling into the empowered states. So if it feels okay for you again to close your eyes or just look down at the ground, and again for less than a minute, I'm going to read some more words out to you. And this time I really invite you to drop any self-judgment, let go of any cynicism, and just feel these words with an open heart and an open mind. Okay, so starting with the disempowered feminine. People-pleasing, codependency, being the martyr, putting yourself last, invisibility, body shame, self-blame, lack of boundaries, submission, guilt, and now the disempowered masculine, rushing, impatience, forcing, fear of intimacy, overworking, overthinking, scarcity, proving. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. I wonder if you related to any of those states. If there's anyone in the room that didn't, I don't feel like you're human. Like, I mean, hello, welcome to the human experience. Like we all do, and it's an ongoing piece, right, for all of us. And it's important to know that any of those states, any of those experiences or behavioral habits. It's not who you are, it's just a habit of behavior. It's a way of being in the world that you've learned, and habits can be changed. That's the great thing. And so it's all about loving yourself enough. And I wrote a book on it. So if you have any of those things going on, the book will take you through a process on how to heal and overcome and move from disempowered state to empowered state. So you can be the woman you came here to be. You can be the leader you want to be in the world. That's the point of ta-da, of her. Do you remember how earlier I said we didn't have a blueprint for this more balanced feminine approach to leadership? Now we do. It's daring and mighty leadership. And it's daring to value the feminine. It's time. And it's about having that mighty courage to do the inner work that you're being called to do and heal. Because you only have to read the headlines and look at the state of the world to see that it has been disempowered, wounded people who have not valued the feminine, who've been in charge of the world. And it is time for that to change. Daring and mighty leaders, they know how to sustain themselves. They know how to take care of themselves. So when they're in massive action, they're not burning out. It's okay to be I've been in massive action in the last 3 weeks preparing to come here. But it's about doing it in a way that you're taking care of yourself in the process. Daring and mighty leaders know how to hold calm space and a steady nervous system, because the world's pretty crazy. And if you're leading other people, whether it's your kids at home or you're on the leadership team and it's an entire organization, there's a lot of craziness going on out there. And if you've got craziness going on inside, no one stands a chance. You've got to have your own back so you can lead the way for the people that are relying on you. A daring and mighty leader knows how to create present moment peace. She knows how to speak her truth with power and love. She can ask for help. She can receive support. She trusts her felt sense. She values her intuition. You get the message, right? She's cool, and so is he. The Dalai Lama said that the female was the symbol of love and compassion. Daring and mighty leaders are freaking fueled by love and compassion. So let us lead. Not by being somebody else, but by being more of who you truly are.